Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse, and I'm really glad to be back. I missed y'all. I was in New York City for freeCodeCamp top contributor party, and then before that I was in Salt Lake City for React Rally. So if anybody has any questions about how all that went, let me know. I can answer that when we do question and answer sessions and then at the end of the stream. I am still a little bit exhausted from it all because it was really awesome, but I had very little sleep from basically like Wednesday until yesterday. That's a small amount of sleep, but I did so much awesome stuff. And so I'm kind of excited for what we're working on today. It's pretty cool. We're going to continue on with what we were doing in the last stream. So in case you didn't see the last stream, I'll give you a quick recap. And I'll also, if you're totally new and you haven't seen any of my streams, let me take a minute just to explain what we do here. So I am a full-time front-end developer employed by a small university, and I live stream my daily work. So these projects are projects that I'm actually working on. The project we're currently working on is the new main website for the university, so it will be franciscan.edu when it launches. These are not exactly tutorials, although I hope that you all learned something from them. I certainly learn a lot from you when I do them. And so as you watch it, really the value in this is just seeing what it's like for me as a front-end developer, and seeing how many mistakes that I actually make every day and I still manage to keep my job, and how I work through those mistakes, and how I make decisions for projects. So I do my best to explain things as I go along, and feel free to ask any questions. I don't think I've ever had anybody ask anything that I didn't want to answer. So feel free to ask questions. Pretty much nothing offends me. I think that's it. So I do Pomodoro sessions for the stream. So we'll do 25 minutes of coding, and I won't really answer questions during that time. And then I'll take 5 minutes to answer questions. We'll do another 25-minute session of coding, and then at the end of the stream, I'll take all the remaining time to answer any questions that you all have. So if you ask a question, it seems like I'm kind of ignoring you. Don't worry, I'm only ignoring you for a little bit. I'll get to you at some point. Okay, so here's what we're working on today. So we have a React project. Okay, so a website, progressive web app, that's running React, which is a JavaScript library, and we need to create a contact form that when a user fills it out, they put in their first name, last name, email, and then whether they want to be undergrad, graduate, or online student at this university. We need that data to be sent to Salesforce and automatically create a new record for that student in our Salesforce database, or however you want to call it. So last week, our last stream, we successfully created records. Okay, but we didn't make the form yet. We just kind of did it all and hard coded it in the back end with NodeJS in our server.js file. Okay, so today what we're going to do is number one, we're actually going to create the correct records, because if you remember, we did get to send data over, but it went to the wrong place. So we're going to try to go to the right place this time, and we're going to try to actually create the form so that we can fill out the form on the site, hit submit, and hopefully have everything work. Okay, so that's the plan for today. We'll see how much of it we can get done. And I'm going to go through real quick and just say hi and see if there's any questions I should answer right away before we get started. And okay. So hey everybody, I see some new people, some old people. I'm just going to say hi all at once because there's a lot of people saying hi. Oh, cool. Sorab says they use Salesforce a lot to automate stuff. Awesome. So maybe you can help me out as we're going through this. What's up, John? All in all, ask what type of job I'm doing. I think I kind of explained that. Let me know if I didn't, if you have anything more specific that you'd like to ask. Let's see. Steven asked why I didn't get interviewed at the meet and greet for Free Code Camp. We just ran out of time. That was all. And I kind of wanted to hang back because I figured y'all get to hear me talk all the time. Some of the other people, you know, are just kind of behind the scenes. So I figured it'd be cool if they had a chance. So I kind of waited and thought, if we have time, I'll get on there. Otherwise, you know, y'all can ask me whatever you want. Okay, so let's get started. I should show you my screen first. That would help. All right, so here's what I've been working on. And let's see. All right, so the latest thing that I've done that's different from the last time is I've changed out a few things. So number one, I got these environment variables working. So they weren't working the last time, and there's a good reason why they weren't working, because I didn't require this .env. Okay, so I needed to bring in that package first for this all to work. So once I did that, now it works. So our file with the environment variables now works. Now what this does mean is if you're working on this project locally, this will not work for you. So once we get the form up and running, if you try to actually submit the form, it won't work because you won't have Salesforce login info, which there's not really anything I can do about that. If you want to kind of use this on your own project, you'll have to have your own Salesforce account and set that up. And down here, what I've done is I've put all of this code that we use to send data inside this server.post, and the path now is inquiry-submit. So we're going to send from our front end, we're going to send a post request to inquiry-submit, and then it's going to take that data that we send and it's going to use it here. So for now, I'm just hard coding because we're going to test it out with some hard coded stuff just to make sure that it's creating a record in the right place with the right information. And I didn't start my Pomodoro timer. Let me start that. And while we're here, I just wanted to show off. So a colleague of mine, Liz, who's awesome and super smart, showed me this website that she made when she was, I don't know, like 10 or 11. So I just wanted to show it off. I'm kind of impressed. This was from 2001. Like, I don't even think I had a computer when I was 10 years old. So, I mean, she was already making websites using HTML. I like it. So I thought I'd just show that off. So shout out to Liz. Thank you for sharing, and thanks for giving me permission to show this on the stream. So if any of you like are struggling with some design ideas, you know, feel free to use this as an example. All right, back to the code. Let me make this a bit bigger for you. It's probably way too small. I should probably start the server. You're in dev? I think it's dev. All right, that is probably big enough for now. So I think before we're sending the data as, I don't know what it was, as something else. I think the correct thing to send it as is contact. So we're gonna, hopefully that'll work. And I have all the fields here except the last field, which is gonna be either graduate, undergrad, or online. But I'm not sure what that field is exactly. So I'm gonna leave that blank for now, because that's just gonna take me like going through all the fields possible and trying to figure out which one matches up. I'm not gonna do that on the stream because that's super boring. And we don't really need that to prove that this will work, right? So let me save this. I was hoping we'd get some auto formatting on this, but I guess not yet. This is okay though. Why? I really thought we would get a lot better auto formatting. Anyway, I'm just gonna change this to single quotes just to get rid of these squiggly lines. They always, red squiggly lines always look so angry, you know? Oh, now we have some formatting. Okay, cool. So our next step here, I guess what we can do now is just like move this out of here and just call it like right away. So let's do that. So what we'll do is grab basically we'll grab all of this. I'm just going to copy it and then paste it here. Will that work? Maybe. Actually, let's take it out of there. I'm going to put it up here. So this should just run, right? Which is, we're like automatically just calling all this. So this should run as soon as the server restarts. And then we can check. Well, we'll see what comes up. We should get an error message if it doesn't work. So this will be our first check. If it works, then we'll move on and we'll actually create the form. Okay? If not, we'll switch it up, try to make it work. So let's save it. This should auto restart. All right, cool. We got some stuff in here. Invalid login. All right then. I have my end file open on my other screen. All right, so let me double check that I have the right stuff in there. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show you this because then you'd have my password. So it'll just take a second. Okay, and so just put my password in. And now I'm going to get a security token. So when you go to put in your password here, that it needs, so like up here, this is actually going to be, if you're trying to do this on your own, your Salesforce password that you log in with. And then you're going to combine that with your security token. And that will be what you use. So let me, I'm just going to completely shut this server down for a second and then start it back up. We're still getting it. Invalid username, password, security token. Huh. All right. That's a little bit weird because this worked before. The only other thing I could think of is resetting the security token. Also, while I have this, check out this swag I got at Reactor Alley. So Apple was there giving out free stuff, and so I got a cool cup. Have some iced coffee in there right now. All right, let's do that. So I do have two different security tokens. One of them I thought was invalid, and I thought I was using the right one. Let me try the other one. If neither one of them works, then I'll try to create a new security token. And I know I have it up somewhere on my other screen. Sorry I have to do all this on my other screen. There's really no other way around this. I think I deleted the email with my security tokens. So where's the trash? There we go. Deleted items. Where are you? That would have been what day? Thursday? Yeah, I think we created that first token on Thursday. Oh, where is it? Alright, I don't know what happened to it, so I guess we're not going to try the old one. Oh, do you know what? I may have had it saved. Let me go back to that end file. See if I can just go back to the original. See if it'll work. Alright, I'm going to save that now and see if this one will work. Oh, you know what? I know why it's not working, and this is silly. So, in my end file, originally on the last time we streamed, which, you know what, it wasn't Thursday because I was at that conference. It was probably Monday. Wow, it's been a while. So last Monday, I just named them username and password, but when I redid some stuff in here and I changed the name to Salesforce username and Salesforce password because I thought, you know, maybe I'll have to put more stuff in this end file, and I want to make sure that it's clear that these are the Salesforce username and password. So I'm going to change the names here, and then everything should work. Alright, and I think I just typed in, there we are. Cool, a different error? Nice. Alright, so here we are. We went in successfully. And it looks like we have an invalid field. All right, I was a little bit worried about this. There's no such column as first name. Okay. All right, let's scroll down here. So, all right, let me look in Salesforce, and I'll see if I can show you. I'll pull this over and show you. But if there's any student information, I can't. So, yeah, you know what? I think I may end up looking at student information, so I'm not going to show that live. I'll just like describe what what I'm doing here. So my music stopped on Spotify, so let's go back. Okay. Responses. All right, let's bump this down. So name, all right, so let's try to just do this. Let's say name. So let's try to run it with this. Name invalid field. Why is it still? It's still saying first name. Why? I just changed that. Oops, you know what? I probably changed it in the wrong spot. That's why. We copied and pasted it up here, so maybe that's why. No. No, that was the right spot. All right, let's try it again. Oops. Oops. Let me totally shut the server down. Oops. And start it up. Oh no, I had this one going too. That's why I kept running everything twice. Let's get rid of that. Okay. All right, let me check to see if this even, came in at all. All right, so I don't think anything was created. Let me check my time. All right, we still have about 9 more minutes until I'll go back and answer questions. All right, so let me look at this a bit more. If I had name, or was it capitalized? I can't remember if it was originally capitalized or not. So I'm gonna try it out with being capitalized. See if it makes any difference at all. And it doesn't look like it does. Please check the security settings of this field. Okay. I wonder if I can add. I need to find in Salesforce where the state is going. All right, we might just skip to the actually making the fields in React, because at this point, I mean, we know we're connecting to Salesforce. The problem is just making sure that we have the right keys for our key value pairs for our data. So that's just going to have to be me going through Salesforce and trying to figure out exactly what these keys are. Because to be honest with you, it's not exactly clear, and I'm not the one that set it all up. So maybe I'll just have to get a hold of somebody else. So let's switch it up a bit. And what we can do now is get rid of this, so we don't have this run every time we save something. Okay. All right. Let's get rid of that. And let's go to, where's this going to be? You know what? Let's make a totally new component for this, because I think we'll have this on multiple pages. So let's go in here and check out our components. So our components folder, and we're going to make a new file, and we'll call this inquiry.js, because it's going to be the inquiry form. And let's just pull in some code from another component. Maybe let's just pull in the code from this hero component. Just something, just to give us a little boilerplate, right? And we'll take out, we'll probably want grid, we'll definitely want button. The styles probably don't need typography. We'll leave it in for now though, just in case. All right, cool. So we can leave that alone. We'll come back to these in a minute. What I want to do really with this is move this down to the bottom. So we've been doing that with all our components, moving all our styles down to the bottom. So as we edit things, we're doing that. A little bit easier when you first go into the component to figure out what's happening if you don't have to scroll down through all the styles first. Let's change our name. So instead of this component being hero, we're going to make it, oops, not going to be able to do that. Hero, we're going to make it inquiry. So we have to change it here, and then also down here. Inquiry. Okay. Right now we're passing in a lot of props. For now, I don't anticipate this component having any props. So let's get rid of all these props. Okay. And we can get rid of a lot of this. So all these options. Okay. And now within our return, we can really get rid of pretty much most of it, right? Almost all of this. So yeah, so I mean, we have our basic stuff here. We're gonna leave button. Let's leave these button styles just in case we want to reuse them. I'm not gonna need this parallax. Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, there is going to be, we're probably going to have one prop, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. The prop's going to have to do with if we place the form on a section of the website that has a white background, we're going to need the button to look different than if we place the form on a section of the website that has a dark background. Not only the button, but all the color for all the font and everything. So those might be the only options. We might basically have like a light and a dark theme for this form. But for now, let's just get it working. So we're going to start out with a grid component, and this is going to be container. And inside of that, we're going to have some more grid stuff. So we're going to do a grid, and we're going to give it, oops, that's my timer. All right, we'll stop here. Let me take a short break and go to the chat. I'm going to scroll all the way up to the top of the chat and try to get through as much as I can. Steven says, that dry erase board is nowhere near big enough. Just saying. So I have a dry erase board behind me. Can't see it in this view. But yeah, actually, I haven't used that dry erase board for at least a year. So I don't really use it that much. I used to like sketch things out on it, but I just use paper now. See. All in all says, all of your courses are really cool. Thanks for everything you did for free. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for saying that. I appreciate that. Let's see. Andre says, hello from Portugal. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. Let's see. Niranjan says, hi, how to be a front-end developer and what should I have to study? If you want to be a front-end developer, I would start out with the freeCodeCamp lessons. Start with those and then kind of branch out from there and supplement with YouTube videos and books as you go on. But that'll give you, like, it'll ease you into things very nicely, and it'll hit a bunch of topics that you will need to know. And then figure out what you like, and then you can specialize from there. But that's my advice to get started. Ezekiel says, how are you? John Hansen says, hi, how's the hand? So my hand, if you don't know, I had surgery on my wrist a few weeks back, and it still hurts. I think it's going to hurt for a couple more months before it's really better. So it's okay. I made it through carrying bags and stuff through lots of different airports, and I could do it. I mean, it hurt, but I could do it. So in terms of like having the strength to actually do things, it's there. So I think I'm gonna try to start like working out a little bit and just see how much I could do. Probably this week. So I started back on my diet again this week, and I'm not gonna be so extreme. Like the last time I went on a diet, I was really trying to lose weight, and I dropped like, I don't know, like 15 pounds. This time I'm not really gonna try to lose weight very fast. Just kind of slow, and maybe just worried about like eating healthy, building muscle, and things like that. But I'm gonna see how much I can do with this wrist for now. Vpool says, what's this, 93rd part of Project 5 or just part 2 of the title? Okay, so it's part 2 of us working on with the Salesforce API, but it is the 93rd installment of Project 5 here. So yeah, we've been working on this for quite a while. Sanjay says, hey, it's been a while since I caught up with the stream. What project are you working on currently? This is the main website for Franciscan University. So it's a React project. It's using React Node, WordPress for content management, Next.js. So we got some server-side rendering going on, custom routing. So that's what we're working on. John Hansen says, high five for building a new component. Cool, yeah. I think it's always cool to, I think, on the stream to build a new component, especially for those who are starting out and are new with React, because like the more times you go through that process and see it, just the more comfortable you'll be with doing it. And for me too, like if I get, like I haven't really done much coding for the last week, so I don't want to get too rusty at kind of doing things. Although I rarely code a component from scratch. I'm always copy and pasting things, which I think is a good way to do it. It's efficient. All right. Niraj says, how do you learn programming? Well, there's a lot of different ways to start out. If you're interested in doing the kind of stuff that I'm doing here, I would definitely start with the FreeCodeCamp exercises. So check out freeCodeCamp.org and go through that. But there's so many different types of programming. It kind of depends on what you want to do. So if you let me know what you're really interested in, maybe I give you something more specific, somewhere to start out. But all right, cool. So my timer's up, and I'm going to go back now, and we're going to do one more Pomodoro session working on this before I go back and answer some more questions, and that'll probably be the only coding we do for today. It'll just be this next 25 minutes. So let's go into this grid, and now that I'm looking at this, I think it's probably easier if I copy and paste some grid stuff from somewhere else, so I don't have to try to remember or look up what to say. Extra small classes. All right, so we go extra small. I'm trying to find a grid that has everything that we need here. All right, I guess I'll just copy this for now, and I'll guess at the other one. So what I mean in particular is this, like for extra small screens, we want this to be 12, and then I'm guessing small is the next one. Let's try 6 for small. You'll see why I'm doing this in a second if you're not sure what we're doing this for. Let's see. And then within here, we're going to want to put some form elements. So let's check out, do I have, I guess I don't have any windows here. So let me pull over, actually I could use this. Let's pull this out, and now that I have this dark theme on here, I can't see where this corner is. There we go. All right, let's go to materialui.com. So we're using Material UI for a lot of our design for this site. It comes with a lot of pre-made components in the material design style. And what we want to find now is our inputs. So let's go. It's going to show us the API, but really what I want is a demo. So we want the Textfield Demo first. Let me make this bigger so y'all can see. And we can actually make this like really big. We'll do full screen. And this is what I want. I want these components, but I want to do the controlled version. So I believe it's down here. Oh, maybe they changed it. Customized inputs. All right. Well, let's just start with something basic. So we'll just grab. Do I need a placeholder? Probably not. I don't really need a placeholder. So we'll just grab a basic text field and we'll move it over. Oops. Move it over here. And so we want to import this text field component. And then we're going to bring in the text field. Okay, so we need and I guess we could put this all within a form. Or not. I don't really think it matters for the way we're doing this, but let's check this out for now. We'll just bring in a text field. And nope. Okay. So our text field here, let's clean this up a bit. We're going to say, give it an ID of first name. And a label of first name. And we don't have classes for text field yet. I guess we could import those. We could copy and paste them over. Value is going to be this state, first name. How about we'll just do it like this. First name, like that. This, on change this, handle change. First name. Okay, so that looks good. Let's pull some of this stuff over. So we definitely need the handle change, and we need our state. So let's pull this up. And let's see, currencies. All right, we'll get our styles too in just a second, and we'll pull those in. Is that where I'm supposed to do this? Yeah. We don't need, so we'll have to change these up a bit. So we're gonna have first name, and then we're gonna end up having last name. Oops. Last name, and then this will be email, and this will be student type. I'm not sure what to call that yet, but eventually we will have that. And for now, these are all just going to be blank. And actually, did we have an example with a controlled component? Is that what I just saw? Let's also grab that text field here and pop that down here. Okay, this set state. Great. All right, so that should work. We don't have classes, do we? We need to set our prop. What was that? There we go. Please ask questions if I'm going too fast or skipping through this way too fast, but for this, this is just going to allow us to, instead of having to type this props all the time, now we can just type classes. It just saves a little bit of space. And then if we add any other props, which we probably will, we can just add them in here, and then we can just use them straight away like that. So I believe this is called object destructuring, and I think it's an ES6 thing. All right, I'm gonna take a breath for a second because I just went a little bit, fast. So I'm gonna take a breath and explain a little bit about what's going on here. So we have our text field. The value of our text field is going to be determined by the value of first name in state. But what will happen is when we type in this field on change, so every time we type something in here, it's going to call this function called handle change, and it's going to pass in first name. And what this will do is say, okay, we'll take the name, right, of whatever input that is, because we're going to have more than one, and we're going to set state to whatever that value is now. So whatever is typed into that input is now going to become the state here. In this case, our first name state. So anytime state changes in React, it causes a re-render of the component. So it's going to re-render, and when this component goes to re-render, it's going to say, okay, what's our value? And it's going to look back in state, and now our updated value in state is going to be the value for this. So that's the way the flow goes when you use a component. It's called a controlled input, right? Controlled component, right? So that the value is actually controlled by the state. So a little bit different than if you were to just have, I mean, even if you were to control things through JavaScript, maybe if you're using jQuery, the value would be read and changed directly. But in this case, it's state that really gets changed, and then everything flows from there. So we don't change the value directly. We change state. State change causes re-render, and then value comes from state. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Once you use it a few times, if you don't already understand what's happening, if you use it a few times, you'll understand, and it makes a lot more sense. Okay, so now that we have that one in here, let's copy and paste, and we're going to use 3 of these inputs. And we'll just switch up the names here. So this one will be easy. We'll just switch it to last name. Whoops. Last name. And then this one will be email. Okay, so let's save that and see what it looks like. So I'm running this, right? Yeah. So let's go to localhost. Localhost 3000, and oops, we actually need to use this component. So let's add this component right onto our home page, and see what it looks like. So I don't think I have a home page up here. Let's go to our index. And on our index, first we'll import this. So let's just grab this for now, copy and paste it, and then change this to inquiry. Inquiry. And then now down here, we'll just pick a section. Let's see what this looks like. See where we should put it. I guess we could just throw it right below one of these top sections. Degrees. Yeah, this is going to have its own grid. So let's put it inside. Yeah, let's just add it as another text section. There's another section here, and it's going to be inquiry. And we have no props to pass in right now. So let's see what happens. Cool. And here it is. Pretty terrible right now. But at least we have our inputs. Let's type, and we can see, hey, it's working. Things go in there. If we really wanted to, we could look in DevTools and see that the state is actually changing, but I'm just going to trust that the state works right now, since otherwise we may not even really see anything. So great, so we have our fields. The style of this is awful right now, right? But we're not worried about the style. We want it to work first. So let's add our last section in, which is going to be a drop down. So first we can just make, let's go to Material UI, the documentation again, and let's find, let's see, there's got to be one for drop down or select. Where's it at? List menu, selects. There we go. So we want to put in one of these selects. It's just going to look like this. Yeah, so we're going to do kind of the same thing again. I'm going to grab some of these. So we'll import this select and select empty. I don't know if we need that or not. Statement name. And this handle change is actually, it's made a little bit different, so we'll probably have to change up the way we're doing things. I think I might like this way better. We'll see if we switch it to that way, because then it's one less thing we have to pass in here. So let's see, we have our, actually let's go this whole thing here, and we'll probably have to pull over form control as well, but we're going to go with another grid. There we go. And we're going to do the same thing here that we did with the other ones. All right, and these are just the columns. So on an extra small screen, this will take up 12 out of 12 columns. On a small screen and up, it'll take up only 6 out of 12 columns. So it'll be 50% width, and then over here 100% width. We also need to import form control, import label, and menu item. Let's go up here. And we'll just grab these. I don't need the helper text. Okay. We'll just verify that that's actually showing up. Yep, it shows up, and see, we can check here. Now we can change things up a bit. So input props. Our name is going to be, what do we call this? Student type. We'll give it an ID of student type. And our values, so this will say undergraduate, graduate, and online. And then we'll replace these with undergraduate, graduate, and online. Okay. All right, now you remember I said we're going to have to change something. So currently our handle change is expecting us to pass in the name. But what we could do, labels first name. So here for input props, we are giving it a name of student type. All right, let's just do it then like this. I kind of wanted to switch it up so that the text inputs use the same thing as this one, but for now I think this will be the fastest way to get it working. Student type. Okay. And let's save that. Oops, keep going the wrong way. Oops, I forgot to change age. So instead of age, let's go with student type, and we need to change it here. Student type, and one more time. Student type. Okay. Whoa. And this is way too small. Let's pull over, I guess, some of the styles for this. I mean, maybe the form control will pull over. Let's see what that does for us. There we are. Okay. So now we have this. So this is all that we need in terms of inputs for our form. We will need a submit button. Okay. And let me check my time. Oh, about 5 minutes. Okay. Let me grab some code from a previous project to speed things up. So in the Resource Center project that we did, that was a React project, we have a form on there. It's a much more complicated form, but we can use the same thing. So we had a handle form data. So let's put this in here, and it's going to be crazy at first, right? But here's what we're going to do. Handle form data. We're going to create a new. Why is form data saying it's not defined? Anyway. We'll see how much of this we can get working before the timer's up. Probably not going to get it completely working, but you know, at least we have something on the page now. For cons key value, to use the state form. All right, let's see how we had the state structured here. Okay, I see. So we actually had the form. Let's call this file. We don't need any of this file stuff, right? It's because we're not uploading files. Okay, this will be cool actually to have a loading thing come up. So we'll leave that in even though we don't have this in the page yet. And we're also going to leave this fetch in there. And our upload URL will be, for now, what did we set it in our server? What was this? Inquiry submit. So our upload URL will be inquiry submit. Okay, and we're going to send a post request, and then the data we're going to send is just going to be data, right? So this constant, this new form data. Okay, and then we're going to do some stuff depending on the response that we get. We're going to do some different things. Open, success, true, cool. We're going to have to add in some of this dialogue stuff, which I'll probably just copy and paste from. So if you want to check out the full code of what we were doing, it's the service request.js is the file name, and that's in the Resource Center project under the views folder. So it's service request.js. I'll just copy and paste the link in case anybody wants like the big picture of how it all fits together. Okay. All right, cool. So the only part in here that I'm really worried about right now that will actually do anything or work at this point is this here. Right, this is what's gonna send the data to our backend. Now this particular way of doing things with the form data, it's gonna work no matter what we add. With a form this small, we could probably just hard code like, here's what I want to send in here, and just form that object ourselves. But since this is already in there and it should work, we'll leave it in there. What we will need to do though is adjust the way the state is structured here. So instead of just state, like right off the bat, we'll have to say form, and then within form, then have all these. Right, so it's going to mess up our controlled components for a little bit. We'd have to set it and make sure that we're getting the state from the right place. Let's see. Input chain. Yeah, this is a lot more complicated. If you check out that link, you can see that that's a much more complicated form. So definitely more than we need for this one. And my timer is up. So I'm just going to save this for now, even though the changes I just made are going to, it doesn't look like it's broken, but in reality, it's breaking some stuff behind the scenes. Now I'm going to go to the chat, and I'm going to answer whatever questions remain in the live chat, and then we'll finish things up. Niraj says, how can you help me in programming? Well, if you watch this stream, I'm sure hopefully you'll pick up something helpful. There are a lot of tutorial videos, though, on this YouTube channel that may be more helpful to you if you're just starting out. So check those out for sure. Jampunk says, build from Windows. No, I'm actually developing on a Mac right now. Oluwasegun, I'm really sorry if I mispronounced your name. Let me know how I should pronounce it. I'll do my best next time. But anyway, it says, what exactly are you trying to develop? In this particular stream, I'm trying to create a form that sends data to our Node.js backend, and then from there, it sends the data into Salesforce. Overall, for the entire project, we're creating a website for a university with React, Node, GraphQL, WordPress for content management. So that's the overall project. Victor says, you are awesome, Jesse. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, Charles is here. Charles says hello. How's it going, Charles? Let's see. David says coding live is the best exercise. Awesome, cool. I'm glad you like it. It's definitely. I hope it's useful for you all. It's so helpful for me. I learned so much from you all, And just having to explain what I'm doing also makes me really think about, like, why am I doing it like this? And it kind of keeps me, like, really honest and stops me from stagnating. You know, like, if there's a better way to do something in a newer way, like, I'm going to try to use it just to save myself the embarrassment of being caught, you know, live in front of all of you using, you know, outdated stuff. Okay. Programmer says remove the forum. It gives you an error. The colon, I think. Programmer, I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what you were referring to then. Is this when this was here? I assume you're talking about form, like FORM. So I know, yeah, this will cause trouble for now. I'll need to adjust some things to get this to work. Or I can go back and not do it this way. I'll see. I'm not sure what I want to do. David says, you are the best programmer here. I kind of doubt that. I appreciate you saying that, but I definitely doubt that. I know there are a lot of you that watch the stream that are just awesome. You know, I'm a programmer that's willing to show everything that I do and let you all see all my mistakes and everything. So if there's anything unique about me or good about my programming, that's it. It's just I'm willing to put it all out there, and that might not even be a great idea to do, but that's what I'm doing, and I hope it helps you out. And it also, in terms of, like, being a good programmer, to be honest with you, there's so much information out there. I think it's more accurate to say, like, this person is really good at this particular thing. You know, it's so hard to judge, like, a good programmer. You know, like, what do you measure that by? So it's more like, you know, what's your expertise? You know, certain people are better at certain things, and it would be, I don't know if I want to say impossible, because you never know, but it'd be really hard for one programmer to be the best at a lot of different things. You know, so I think the goal for those companies that can afford it, having a team of programmers who each specialize in certain things is the best way to go. And just realize that one person is not going to be able to do it all. You know. Let's see. Zach, KZACK, says, are you using Next.js? I am. I'm using Next. Lamia says, hey, how's it going? Kushi says, remove this warnings. I'm not sure what warnings you're talking about. So let me know, and I'll check into it. Razva says MobX. Yeah, and I'm not using MobX. So that would be like for like state management. So you could use MobX or Redux. Actually, we don't really need that right now. It'd be kind of overkill for what we're doing right now. Since we're using Apollo, though, we can use Apollo to do very similar things to which you would be using MobX or Redux for. So that's probably what we would go with. Alexandru says, what theme do you use? This theme is called Seti, S-E-T-I. Steven says, I feel differently. It's not that I learn from you as much as I gain an understanding of how you use it at work, and that the struggles you have are the same that I have. See, the work in the actual work setting gains more insight than just another tutorial. It's not that I don't learn stuff, it's more job insight on how you work with it. Cool. I'm glad that you said that, Steven. I totally think that that's the value of what I do, is not necessarily that you'll learn a programming concept. You might, but the goal more or less is just to see how I do things, like, really at my job, you know, because there are a ton of tutorials that are pre-recorded and edited and really kind of efficient that can teach you a certain programming concept better than this stream will. But for this stream, you'll see what my process is actually like. And I mean, I don't know if I'm like the average dev or not. I really have no idea, but you'll at least get a view into how I do things, and hopefully, you may think, hey, well, if this guy can get paid full time to be a developer, then certainly I can, right? It might help you get a little insight, a little confidence, and especially for all of you who are maybe freelancing or programming on your own remotely or something. You don't really have the experience of working with other developers. Like pretty much that's been my experience as well. So I think it's just cool to see how other people do things. All right, cool. So I finished up with all the questions, so I'm going to wrap things up here. And thank you all so much for watching. Oh, I got a few more questions. So let me answer this last question, and then I'll wrap things up. Steven says, so how much time outside of work do you spend on work? It really depends on what's happening. So if I have a side project, if I have a side project that I'm working on, then I may spend, hours every day after work actually doing work. Like right now, I don't have a side project that I'm getting paid for. I take that back. I have a very minor kind of ongoing project that I do with a client, just like maintenance stuff, But that's only literally maybe a half hour a month, or it's less than an hour a month I do on that. So that's not a big deal. So at the moment, I'm really not doing anything outside of work. So I'm taking a little break. I finished up a project, so we'll see. But it totally depends on what I happen to be working on. Let's see. Julio says, working on a project for school setting as well. Excited to learn. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Yeah, no problem. Razva says, do you like Express.js more than Sales.js or Adonis.js? I like Express, but I've never used Sales or Adonis, so I can't really give a fair assessment there. So those may be awesome. I just don't know. I've never used them. But I do like working with Express. I've been able to figure everything I've wanted to do with it. I've been able to figure out how to do it. So, I mean, I can't really ask much more from, a package or framework, Steven says, being new to development, I find myself working a lot at home. Yeah, I mean, I think, to be honest with you, I would work a lot more from home if I didn't have a wife and kids, really, because I love what I do, and I love learning more and making cool things. So I would probably be spending almost all of my time developing things. Like literally, I would probably, if I was trying to be healthy, I would have a workout in there, which I should every day, and I would have time to eat. But other than that, all my time would probably be spent programming, right? So it's good to try not to get burnt out and to make sure that you have some other aspects to your life, just kind of manage stress and things like that. But it's definitely that what that's going to look like is going to be different for different people, and whether or not that's healthy is going to be different for different people, right? So it's hard to say overall, how many hours are too many hours, right? Because it depends on a lot of factors. So for me, working all day is not healthy for my family, right? Probably not healthy for me, but even more so, it's not healthy for my family. If I didn't have that, if I was single, then maybe it might not be as big of a deal. Maybe I could work longer hours, and that would be fine, all right? Because it's not like it's work for that long. It's something I enjoy doing. Surav says, step-by-step explain Docker and Jenkins, please, sir. I don't know that I know enough about Docker and Jenkins to explain them step-by-step. So you probably don't want me doing that. Maybe try to find some videos. there may be some videos about that on our Free Code Camp YouTube channel, but check out Learn Code Academy, their YouTube channel. So it's I can't believe I forget his name. I forget the name of the guy who does that channel, but the channel name is Learn Code Academy. Will Stern. I think his name is Will Stern. I know that Will has some videos on Docker, and I think he has some on Jenkins. So check those out. They're a little bit old, but the concepts are still the same. So those may help you out. Charles says, what are your tips for getting a developer job? All right, so just a few tips. I'm not claiming to be an expert here, but these are things that I've found are helpful. So always be working on projects that you have on GitHub and that you can put up there. People can actually see them. Okay, so employers do like to see that you've worked on projects, right? So definitely do that. Try to network with as many people as you can. If you can meet people in person, great. If not, Twitter is a great place to get in touch with other developers. You can then, if there's a job at a place where another developer, like let's say you have a relationship with another developer on Twitter, right? And then you notice like, hey, they work at this company and you want to work there. You could then ask them for a recommendation. And that recommendation will get you farther, right? So for instance, like at Google, if you submit an application, no one's even going to see it at first. It's going to go through their program that kind of weeds people out. So a real person may never even see your resume. But if you have a recommendation, they have a process where like that resume is guaranteed to get into the hands of somebody to look at. So you've already kind of skipped that first step by having that. So that's a great way to kind of get in there. Then I would say like apply for as many jobs as you can. Be smart about it. Don't spend all your time doing that. So get on places like LinkedIn or like Indeed.com, Stack Overflow, and set it up so that you can do like the one-click apply for jobs. So, have like a generic type of resume and then go through, and every job that's one-click apply. So not every job is going to let you do that, but every job that lets you do that's even remotely in your range of skills, apply. Apply to everything. It'll only take you a second just to click, and that way, like, hey, you might get in. You might get an interview. Even if you end up not taking that job, at least it's good experience to go through the interview process. Okay, so that's my advice. If you do find a job that you really, really want, then there's kind of more strategies that you can take to get that job. So like tailoring a project just for that company, for that job based on what they do. Maybe getting in touch with more people that work there and figuring out, what you need to do. So like, but it's in general, if you're just trying to get a job and not a specific job at a certain company, I think the advice I just gave will be okay. And there are probably a lot of other things you can do, but just from off the top of my head, that would be my advice. Okay. Elvis says, oops, I'm sorry, I skipped some questions. David says, how many programming languages do you know? I'm new with this. I'm learning Python now, but I want to learn another programming language in the future. I know JavaScript pretty well. I have done things with PHP, with Python, with C++, with C#, and with Java. Also with Solidity. Yeah, and I think that's it. So I have a very basic familiarity with a lot of programming languages. I wouldn't be confident to say I'm going to build all this stuff, but I'm confident enough to say like I could kind of figure out what's going on if I see some of that code. But for me, I'm focusing on being really good at JavaScript, which seems to me like it will help me in my career more than being like average at a lot of languages or below average at a lot of languages. So, but it depends on what you want to do with your career. So it may make sense for you to learn more than one language. But for me, I know a little bit about, maybe 5 or so languages, and I'm trying to focus mainly on one. Elvis says, what's the best front-end validation you'd recommend? I don't remember. We used something on some previous projects. I forget what we used, so I'm blanking here. If I remember in the next few minutes, I'll let you know, but I can't remember what we had used before. I don't remember what it's called. You can check out some of our previous projects on the GitHub repo. So it's linked in the description. So if you just check out like the whole GitHub organization and look back at some of the projects, maybe you'll find what we've used. Steven says, yeah, I have a wife and kid. It's been hard at times, but being the only front-end developer, you have to learn it at some point. I find that at home I'm a little better at learning new stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's like I said, that's just some balance that you're going to have to make with yourself and, your family to figure out, like, what's a reasonable amount of time to spend doing this, right? Because, you need to be able to pay the bills and provide for your family, so you need to be good enough at your job that you're going to be able to keep your job and progress. But you also want to actually spend time with your family, too. So that's a hard balance. Like, I don't have that figured out. You just do the best you can. I just try to do the best I can, and sometimes I do a good job, and sometimes I don't. So can't really give a lot of advice other than just keep trying and keep talking to your wife and figuring out what's working for her, and just try to work through that. INS says, Node.js versus PHP, what's your opinion? I'm a rookie at backend. I personally prefer Node.js to PHP, but it really depends on what you're trying to do. So in terms of learning PHP, like if you get a job that has to do with WordPress or Drupal or Joomla or anything like that, you're going to need to learn PHP. If you have the opportunity to build new stuff and you don't have to worry about all that, then I would go with Node, because if you're going to be full stack, like, why not learn Node? You can learn JavaScript really well and just use JavaScript front and back end. So it really depends. So, I mean, I don't know all this, specific details about which one's faster, more efficient. I don't know about that, but I prefer Node. Steven says, totally was not qualified for this job. They took a chance and decided to give me a shot. Loving the change so much. Way less stress, more freedom to watch. Yes. That's cool. Well, I'm glad you like this job, and, do your best to keep learning. I mean, if they decided to give you a shot, I mean, at least they have a little bit of patience, right? So hopefully, they'll let you learn and start to get really good at it. Mark Lynch says, have you used MongoDB before? I'm trying to figure out how to build my schema so it's easier to work with. Can you recommend some vids of yours or others? Also, any vids on testing, since I know nothing. So we have done some stuff with testing on some of my previous videos, but I'm no expert on testing. We have done some stuff with Mongo. I don't think we've done it on a video, though. I think it's on a side project that I work with it. So I would say in both cases, you probably want to find some other videos. Check out freeCodeCamp. Just do a search through the freeCodeCamp videos to see what they have. I do know that, once again, Will Stern's YouTube channel called Learn Code Academy does have some videos on Mongo, and I also believe on testing. So you may want to check that out. With most of his videos, they are a little bit kind of older, but the concepts are still pretty solid. So I like his style, and in his videos it helps me out. Aki says, what's the demand for Vue.js, React, and Angular? I'm from a beginner. I don't really know. To be honest with you, I would say out of the three, React is growing really fast, and there's a lot of jobs for React. But Angular also has a lot of jobs, but it's not growing as much. So I don't know which one is in first in terms of total jobs, React or Angular, but it's close, and it seems like if React's not already in the lead, it's going to be in the lead soon. Vue definitely comes in third in terms of total jobs, but it's also growing really fast. So that's my take on it, right? So And that's just from what I've seen. I haven't really done a lot of research into that. So if somebody knows better than that, please let us know in the chat. Okay, cool. I'm going to finish up for real this time. Thank y'all so much for watching. And I'm going to try, I'll probably be able to stream tomorrow. I'll be back in the office. So I'm thinking maybe around the same time tomorrow. And yeah, so until then, have a great day.